Whoa, whoa, mm-hmm. Whoa, whoa, mm-hmm. Whoa, whoa, mm-hmm. Whoa, whoa. Well, I went to the valley where I heard there lives a tree. And if I can meet its apple, then I'll learn my destiny. If it was gone, yeah, it was gone. Whoa, whoa, whoa. So I walked through the mountains and across the open field. Where I heard there was a fountain, all the people go get his. It was gone, yeah, it was gone. Whoa, whoa, whoa. So I'm on my way to the only place I've ever known. By the river, by the river, that can help me escape from a life I feel I've long outgrown. By the river, oh, by the river, it's gonna take me away, gonna take me away. I'll be gone. By the river, by the river, by the river, it's gonna take me away to a far better place I belong. By the river, by the river, by the river. Whoa, 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 whoa. Well, I came across a gypsy who led me to a well, and when I drank its water, I fell under her spell. I was gone, yeah, so gone. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Whoa, whoa. So I went to see the wild man who lives underneath the bridge. 'Cause I heard that he could free me from what the gypsy did. He was gone. Yeah, when I got there, he was gone. Whoa, whoa. So I'm on my way to the only place I know for sure. By the river, by the river, that can help me escape through the water that runs cold. By the river, by the river, it's gonna take me away, gonna take me away. I'll be gone. By the river, yeah, by the river, it's gonna take me away to a far better place. I'm alone. By the river, by the river.
Lord Almighty.
Thank you.
The band is Juton, and It doesn't make any sense on radio, but I would literally throw myself at your feet right now. That was amazing.
Thank you so much.
The song you just heard is called By the River, and you guys do have that one available out right now. So tell me where people can find you and spell the band name, because I know people are wondering right now.
The spelling of the name is JU-TAUN, and the song is available anywhere you can buy music online. It's all digital download stuff, so iTunes, all the other ones too.
All those places where you get music and stuff. And you have some shows coming up.
Right. We're performing at Ardmore Music Hall July 31st, and also August 2nd, we're performing in York, PA, opening up for Freddie Jackson. So
that's going to be huge. Awesome. And again, the name of the band is Juton. I have a distinct feeling a lot of people are making mental notes right now, and they're driving in their cars. So JU-TAUN?
That's right.
Yes, all right. Okay, I need to make a mental note as well, obviously. Well, you guys picked out a cover of Peter Gabriel, correct?
Correct.
And we are live. What's up, everybody? On a Thursday, we're live. We're here at True Sound Studios. We got some people already in the chat. Shout out to my mom, Tiffany, Shaniqua, what's up? And, yeah, you're watching Young Lion TV.
Young lion, everywhere I look, they dying. Everywhere I look, they dying. Young lion, everywhere I look, they dying. Everywhere I look, they dying. Young lion, won't you get up and stop fighting? Everywhere I look, they're hiding.
Yes, sir. We are live. And quick shout out to the people that we got in the building with us. We got Moan sitting in.
What up?
We got the brother James Garcia, Mr. Build Right, sitting in. We got Jake sitting in.
Hey.
And then holding it down on the production, we got John.
Remember that?
Hey. Yeah. What was that show?
What's
Fat
happening?
Albert.
He said Fat Albert. See, the other black
That was
show.
close. But, yeah. Same era.
And
right?
Albert, man.
Yeah.
Wait, wasn't what's happening
what's
in
happening?
the 80s, but it was just about the 70s?
Yeah, it was kind of like That 70s show of that time,
Right.
But the black version
Right.
with
So you're saying it
Dwayne,
was
what was
first.
his name?
So, yeah, it was first.
Stole from the blacks again. Yeah. Jordan Damiani just checked in. He said, "Yeah, what's up, Jordan?
What's up, Jordan?
Jay Copes just hit us up on the other chat. What up, Jay?
What's up, man?
My mom said hello, everyone. And
Hey, Mom.
Hey, Mom.
yeah, so how's
Thank you
everybody
for
doing?
Sophia's present.
Oh yeah, he got your present. He said that.
Thank you.
Hi, Mommy.
How's everybody doing?
Doing
How y'all
all right.
feeling?
I'm good.
Feeling all
Good.
right.
Feeling good?
Good.
Yeah.
Doing good.
Okay. What's been going on?
Well, what's been going on with us. We did our first Freddie show.
Yeah. First show
In a
Since
year.
last year.
since
dude.
How did that feel?
first show in a whole year.
Rusty?
It was a little rusty, a little bit.
Yeah.
Not nothing crazy, but it was just a little.
Not only that, we had a lot more to do.
Yeah.
Yeah, like it was the first time we ever did, because it was a live stream for AARP. They're doing like this concert series that they're putting on, and so they want to kind of see a full show produced and visually appealing and everything. So it was the first time we kind of used our experience from doing the podcast to
Oh,
try
wow,
to set
okay.
up a live stream
Oh,
show
so
event.
you have to, they don't do anything. You just got to show up.
No, we went to we picked a location that had like the staging and everything. We just brought in all our gear, cameras.
Oh, okay.
Had a little. We kind of just we winged it. You know what I mean?
All right.
And it came out. They loved it. They said it was their best. They've ever had so far. Which is a testament to like our team and everybody who stepped up and did their thing. John did his thing.
Thank you, John.
And Rachel was there. She was doing her thing. And then we kind of just like we were kind of figuring it out as we went. You know what I mean? Like how we could get the audio patched in properly. How we came up with a way to like, because we didn't have an intercom system for whoever's at the switcher has to tell the camera people what to do or what camera's live. So we decided to like get everybody with earphones in and then just do a conference call on their cell phone. And then everybody mute their lines except the person at the switcher, so that Rachel was telling them, like, you know, John, you're live. So that would let everybody else know what they're doing. So it was kind of cool. It worked out. You know, we figured out ways to fine tune it in the future if we do something like that again. But it also showed us that we're capable of pulling something like that off.
Okay.
Where it was a live streamed.
So you're saying movie?
Well, at least live performances we could do.
Yeah.
We could do full-fledged live performances with a full band, you know, full production, and also it looks really good. Like going through the stream.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
It did look good.
Yeah. It looked professional, right?
It did.
Yeah.
It did.
It wasn't as good going through their stream though.
Maybe. You
Just
saw it?
from-
Did
yeah.
you go back and watch it?
No. I just
Can
from
you go
what-
back and watch it?
I didn't know you could. But when I
yeah,
saw
you
it,
can, you can watch it now.
when I saw it the day before or the day we were doing the sound check.
Oh, we didn't set you up a mic, bro. Sorry.
Oh, we were hardwired, so it was better.
Yeah,
Okay.
so after we did the sound check and we realized that the Wi-Fi was a little choppy in there, we had them hardwire us into the
Right.
Ethernet port, so it was a more stable connection, and it looked a lot better.
Nice.
So
I mean, for me, what I saw, it looked good.
yeah, it didn't look like pixelated or anything. Yeah,
You guys sound good.
sounded good.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, cool.
It's good. Probably you guys are probably like hardening yourself because with all that constant practice, you know.
No, because we know that, you know, what mistakes
We
you
know it
made.
can always be better.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We're not.
All right.
I don't think we're ever like, oh, we did amazing.
Yeah.
I mean,
Perfection.
I mean,
over
every
here.
show, there's always going to be that thing, you know.
Naomi said hello. What's up, Naomi?
Marnita.
Marnita said, hey. Wilmer said, what's up, Lions? What's up, young
What up?
lion? And speaking of that, yeah, anybody who wants to become a member and wants to support the live stream, you can go to our Patreon, patreon.com/Young Lion TV, and you can donate to the cause or you can subscribe. And when you subscribe, you actually become a young lion yourself. Yeah.
Jordan
That's-
said it's going to be fun to do a Jatan show like that.
Hey.
Yeah.
Yes, it
Yeah.
will.
that's what we need to
Yes,
do
it
that.
will. Yeah.
You guys should do a little summer series or something like that, you know?
That would be cool. I mean,
I want
to
to do some outdoor stuff.
Yeah.
Like I want to do some stuff like I don't know.
in wilderness.
No. I'm talking about like in the city, like where there's homeless people. I don't know.
You want to do
Like,
shows like that?
I want to do stuff like bringing in the spirit. You know,
Okay.
like
To heal people.
on another level. Yeah.
Right. But you want to do it like a full band and like
I mean, I know it's hard
that,
because it's
you're
outside.
talking something totally different. we
Any
need
takers?
some.
we need power sources.
Yeah.
We need. Yeah.
I've already been thinking about
Yeah,
it,
yeah.
but
Yeah.
He
Right.
gets mad at them. You guys don't have power out here?
Yeah.
Man, I sleep in a trash can.
Right. Why don't we have Wi-Fi? Yeah.
but we gotta think about those
Yeah.
things.
Yeah. We could.
How
We could
can we
there's a
do it?
way.
You
There's
know,
a way.
that's maybe about 2 years ago when Shaniqua and I went to Old City, and I remember what Old City was, and I started seeing all these beer garden popped up, and there was like little bands playing, and it was
Yeah.
actually pretty cool, you know, to just kind of be out there and just relax. I think people are more in tune to seeing a live show outside.
Especially now, right? It's been so long. Like,
And I feel like people want intimacy again with like musicians. Like the era of I don't know how people feel about this, but for me, I feel like going to a show where the band's like right there and I can see you guys and I versus being up in the nosebleeds or wherever.
right.
You know
And
what I
there's a
Yeah.
sea of people between you
Yeah.
and the artist. Yeah. I mean, there's a difference, definitely. I mean,
It's a
there's
unique experience.
There's people that love that type of thing because there's so much energy and the production value is through the roof.
True.
Fireworks and explosions,
Yeah,
wardrobe
yeah.
changes.
Yeah.
What outfit
Explosions.
is next?
Yeah. No, there really is.
No,
like
you're right, you're
explosions,
right.
pyrotechnics, and all of
Yeah.
that.
Yeah, but that's all entertainment.
Jordan said, just need a mic and a hookup. Yeah.
I'm Mike and
It's an inside joke from our days doing college gigs. When you would show up to the college, we would show up with like our whole band, and we'd be like, all right, so where's the sound system? Yeah, we have a mic and a hookup.
The
It was
girl
literally-
really said that
It
to
was
us.
literally one mic and like a speaker on the
Yo,
ground.
think about that.
How are
Like,
we supposed to?
I'm just thinking about how the whole like it really turned in colleges
Yeah.
with a lot of the different studies they have now. You know, trans study, like all these different studies.
Gender studies. you
Gender
mean?
studies. Yeah.
Yeah.
that's
Underwater
better.
basket weaving.
But when we were going to these colleges and we're doing like, you know,
Our
songs about God,
Yeah.
and you know, in the middle of the where everybody is,
Yeah.
and people loved it.
Yeah.
I think once people see, because that's how I just, for me, when I started going and seeing bands, sometimes I just walk by and I hear something and I walk in and I like it. I'm the kind of guy that if I like it, I'm buying all your CDs.
Yeah. Gene Anderson said, "Hey guys, what's up, Gene?"
What's up,
Hey.
Gene?
Yeah. So that
Naomi's in the house.
yeah. So I mean, I feel like it was a successful. We pulled it off, and I was proud of the whole team, the way we band together, because we didn't have like a lot of time to prepare for this, maybe a couple months. So it was like the learning curve of, first of all, like the band, getting the band back in, rehearsing nonstop, and then piecing together the production team, which ended up being like Justin, Kyle, Rachel, John, and whoever else we could grab at the moment. You know what I mean?
Oh, you said Kyle.
So
Yeah, and you know, I'm very happy with my brother over there. And
Yeah.
Rachel and how everybody did, and
Yes,
you
we
know,
appreciate you
their
guys.
their attitudes were amazing
Yeah.
because it was a lot. You know, it's a lot. Like
Yeah.
and it's hectic, and it can be
Yeah.
a pressurized situation,
Mm-hmm.
especially like when
So
you're
you're
in the
right.
moment of it, huh?
Especially on Jamie.
yeah. Yeah, it's one of them things where
You guys look forward to that though? Like,
I think I welcome that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Sometimes you feel like you can,
pressure's on.
the pressure's on and you got to perform. You know what I mean? So
Because there's only two things that could happen. It's
Right.
either you're going to suck really bad
yeah,
or it's going to be like, wow.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
it's just, I think it's annoying, but you get past. Like,
yeah,
Yeah.
it's annoying, but you got to find a way. That's the thing. You always got to find, you know, because when you're doing what you're doing, you
Yeah,
might
yeah,
get
yeah.
into a
Yeah.
circle. You got to figure out how you're going to fix
Pipes is
something.
bursting,
Yeah,
but
yeah.
you know
Yeah.
you don't
Keep calm.
panic. That's what it
Yeah.
is.
I knew you guys were patient that day I went with you guys and that roof was leaking. And you guys, nobody cursed, nobody reacted. Everybody, I was like, there's a roof
Yeah.
leaking. Well, let's move it right along. Here we go.
James hung with us for like a good 2-3 weeks, right?
Yeah,
going
man.
on the road. And remember, that was at 10 Angels.
10 Angels,
Yeah.
yeah,
We
man.
showed up and they're like, we're supposed to perform there. And we literally, the
was a
stage,
bucket.
the roof had caved in on the stage.
Yes.
Yeah,
And
there
the
was, there was what's it called? Sheetrock
Yeah.
on the stage.
And so like the manager takes us over like, yeah, this is where you guys are supposed
Yeah,
to perform.
And you
but-
guys didn't even react to
You're
it.
like-
Like, okay.
Okay, because you what is the like if
Yeah.
you get mad, what
Yeah.
is that gonna do?
What is that gonna
so
do?
it's
Yeah.
like, all right, what do we do now then?
Right.
Okay, so then we ended up having to perform on the floor,
Yeah,
you know,
yeah,
in
yeah.
front of the stage,
Yeah.
and it worked out, you know. But
It's not, yeah.
Maybe that's what people don't see though. Is like the artistry of the passion for it. Like, you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
what
Yeah.
goes into this?
you're right. And then it makes it when you're in those great situations where we'll, like some of these rooms that we play, and
Where you
we
don't
show
gotta do
up
anything?
and everything is just perfect.
Yeah.
It
Yeah.
makes those things like wow, you know what I mean? You appreciate that more
Yeah.
than just like always having
Because you
that.
don't expect it. Even in like places where you think they would have it all together, a lot of times they don't.
Yep. Yep.
So we have to like,
Yeah.
all right, let's figure out what we're gonna do. And,
Right.
You know, so it's when it happens, it's rare.
Yeah.
It's rare. It's crazy.
But it allows you to build up the ability to perform in any situation.
You guys ever perform at? You guys perform at World Cafe Live, right?
Mm-hmm.
How are they?
It's hard to tell because the times we performed there was for different events. But the one time we played with Swift Technique, you came to that show with Dave.
Oh, yeah, that's right. Yeah.
That was a pretty smooth day. Like there wasn't no real issues. It was a good show. So nice crowd. Yeah, but I'm happy with everybody. I'm happy with how it all went down. We'll you
So
know,
there's gonna be a summer concert series. What are you guys thinking?
we'll see, man. If we can find a way to like do that here or find a location where we can do it all the time, then yeah, we'll do something like that.
A little love back in the world with music, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I want to give a shout out to everybody on Facebook and Instagram who was wishing me happy birthday yesterday.
Yeah, happy birthday.
We are all
Yeah.
officially
Yep.
in the 40s here,
Yep.
except for John. He's got a
Yeah.
ways to go.
He's got 10 years to go.
10 years.
But yeah, everybody, I got a lot of love on Facebook and
Jamie
Instagram.
was the last one to go.
Yep. And that was the other thing. Like, got to do the show on my birthday, and everybody was like, "Oh, you're doing this on your birthday," but I'm like, all the people that I'm around are like my people.
And my
You know what I
sister's
mean?
like, yes, that means I have to do nothing.
No,
she's going to do something for you this weekend.
No, yeah, and she actually did some nice stuff for me. Like, you know what I mean.
Okay.
She took me to lunch, and then she wrote a whole list of 40 things I love about you. You know what I mean? Like, so that was sweet.
that's nice.
I wasn't expecting that. You know how your sister is.
Yeah.
She's very.
Shaniqua's like, I know how y'all are, meaning me.
Right.
She's been getting on me.
Yeah. So I wasn't expecting that at all. So
So that was like she came out of her comfort zone.
yeah.
It's cool.
And she said she had been working on that for a while. Like she was
That's
like,
huge.
compiling a list. You know what I mean? Yeah.
That's sweet.
Because it took a long time for her to think of 40 things.
So you met her at what, 22, right?
Yeah,
So
yeah.
that's a long time, man.
Yeah, it is.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're like right around the same time because I met Leslie at 21.
Yeah. Yeah. So I was 22. She was 25.
Yeah.
And I remember she was like,
I'm dating no young boys up in here.
yeah.
And Jamie's like, girl, you're fine.
I was
Lay
like,
you down.
trying to hear none of that. She was like, yeah, I only date men that are older than me. I was like, yeah, all right.
We'll see about that.
When I saw you, I knew you were her type.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She has a type.
Yeah, she has a type.
Because she tried to act like she don't have a type.
No, get out of here. She does.
I mean, at this point, she's got a type. It's you. There's no other type. Like,
Right.
No, but he fit the
look of
yeah,
what she like. Yeah.
What she
okay.
would notice. you know,
Okay.
you know.
She still tried to play it off though.
Oh, I know. She ain't never gonna admit that.
She tried to. I'm saying at the beginning, like she
Oh.
tried to play it off, like she wasn't feeling me. But
Right.
that was all just pretend.
Right.
You know. Tiffany said, yes, hope you guys do one in Atlanta or Charlotte one day. That would be so awesome. Tiffany, we performed in Charlotte
Atlanta
and
and
Atlanta
Charlotte.
so many times, and you have
You
never
never
come.
came.
Every time. She would always say that. When do you guys perform? We would tell her, oh, we perform. Because it used to be North Carolina. Yeah, when are you guys performing? We would tell her she'd never come.
You played us out.
Yeah. Thank you, Naomi.
We're just joking.
Naomi said, happy birthday. Thank you. Yeah, the big 4-0, man.
Yeah, man. 40.
We all 40. It's
How-
a milestone,
How
man.
you feeling about it?
I feel
I'm
good.
impressed.
Everybody's trying to make me feel a way about it.
No,
You know what I mean?
nothing to feel.
In the soccer group, Jake was.
I didn't see that. Stan told me about
it was
that.
a
though.
joke
I know it was, but it was funny because I was like,
because I knew
comeback? What
I
was
knew
your
you would be
comeback?
like,
I was like, wait a minute, he's trying to project on me because he said, what did you say? What did you say? Everybody
I
wished
said,
Jamie a happy birthday.
yeah, something about like,
He turned 40 and he doesn't have much soccer left to play. Yeah.
but I just knew he'd come back with something.
Yeah, I was like, yeah, from the guy who can only play once a month because his ankles is all bad.
Hey man, we'll come back strong.
I can't talk any mess right now. I just hurt my ankle.
Right? That's because you were trying to jiu-jitsu Brazilians and get hurt.
Naomi said, I turned 47 last month. Wow, happy birthday to you too, 47, almost at that 50.
I told Jamie
3 years.
I was talking all that smack. Yeah. I know how to fall. I fell like a million times and didn't get hurt. Like God humbled me.
Right?
Yeah,
Slip on a little bit of snow. My ankle was like,
Oh, you fell?
yeah,
Oh, okay.
it was bad.
But Tiffany, she said something about Charlotte, but we're probably going to do something online because I don't know when shows, like actual shows, are going to open up. You know, it's been a minute since our last actual live show somewhere was February last year,
Wow.
February 15th. Was that the Bahamas show or was that somewhere else?
it was.
I
the
think it was
show.
Bahamas. That
Didn't
was
we do the
that was
Bahamas on
last-
the 15th and then we had another show right after that in the States?
Yeah, it was. Wasn't it in Miami or not Miami, but
Fort Lauderdale?
close to Miami. Yeah, Fort Lauderdale.
Yes.
It was like right after.
Yeah. Yeah, so
but we only remembered Bahamas.
we remember Bahamas.
I remember the
because
Bahamas
That
because-
resort was so nice, man.
Man, we was jumping over cliffs in
Yeah.
the pools.
The resort wasn't that nice.
The resort
Yeah.
was nice.
Was it expensive?
It wasn't
No,
worth
it
what
was-
it cost.
Yeah,
but it was a nice
it was.
resort.
It was nice, but it definitely the food.
It
was
wasn't nice because me and Jamie got stuck in the elevator.
Yeah, that's where we got. You heard about that story,
Yeah, I did.
right? Yeah, yeah. We got stuck in the elevator for what?
45 minutes to an hour, right?
Yeah, almost an hour.
Yeah, that was
Yeah.
some movie stuff.
Yeah, man.
I'm surprised y'all didn't try to get out of there.
We were
We,
thinking
we
about
were
it,
thinking about it.
but then I just had like flashbacks of like as soon as we start crawling out, the elevator moves.
And I
Final
just saw you
destination.
guys.
Yeah. We
So,
just left you,
yeah.
and we're like, "Oh, we're gonna run up real quick and get something."
Yeah.
And then and the thing is, we had to get to. We were supposed to be going to sound check, so we were going up to the room to get the gear for sound check, and then getting in the van and going to the venue.
So then they're late.
In the elevator, we're on our way up, having our conversation, and then it
Yup.
just stops.
Yeah,
and then
that's
the
scary.
screen, you know how they had those screen panels in there to tell you what floor you're on. It just went blank and started all this like
C++, whatever.
yeah,
Eight,
Right.
came
Oh,
up,
whatever.
It started resetting.
Seriously.
And I'm claustrophobic, so I know I'd be in there sweating like.
That was the other thing. We heard the people in the shaft next to us
It was banging.
going crazy.
Oh my god.
Wasn't there a
Screaming.
kid? Wasn't there
There
a
was
kid?
a little kid in there.
Yeah.
They were crying. You know, people were screaming. And then we kind of cracked the door a little bit, and we saw a guy. We were between two floors, so
Yeah.
we saw a guy underneath of us, and we told him like, "Yo, the elevator's stuck." And then you know, we were there for a while, and then we got on the phone with the people from the front desk, and they
They don't know.
they didn't care.
They don't
Yeah,
know that.
man.
Yeah,
Just
man.
cool out up there, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, we'll be with you in 1
drink a
minute.
mimosa
man.
and relax, man.
Just chill.
And then, then the elevator started trying to reset, so it would like turn on, and then it would jerk,
Yeah.
and then stop again.
God.
And then the lights will go off.
Yeah, and then all the lights went pitch black.
All right.
We filmed the whole thing.
That's true. Have we ever shown that video?
I don't think so.
Yeah, that's a
I
crazy.
don't think we
Would
did.
you guys stay on the outskirts of the Bahamas versus the hotel?
If I went there, I would.
Yeah.
But
Hang
you
with
know,
the locals a little bit.
yeah. I mean, we
I
did.
mean, that's what we did.
yeah,
Our driver took us to some shack.
yeah. We went to go get breakfast, and of course, we always tell the driver like, "Nah, man, take us to the good spot," you know. So he took us to this local hole in the wall spot, and we both had red snapper with gravy,
Right.
you know what I mean? like
Right.
for breakfast.
What
you
did
know.
they call it?
They call it fish stew.
I totally.
For breakfast?
Yeah.
It was like fried fish with gravy.
Oh,
it
okay, I
was
know.
not
Yeah.
what I
We make
expected.
that.
Yeah.
But it was good though.
It was a fried snapper, whole fried snapper
Right.
Yeah.
with some brown gravy.
Brown
on
Screw your
top.
egg McMuffin.
Yeah, yeah,
Mike went with us, right?
yeah. But Mike wasn't messing
He had
with that.
he had bacon and eggs.
Mike was like, "Y'all ain't got no eggs, no bacon." Like, he was
An
not.
American thing.
messing
I remember
with
when
that at all.
we went to Trinidad and the first couple of days we were there, and I introduced Shaniqua to Trinidadian breakfast, and she was like looking around like, "Where's the eggs and the bacon?" You know?
What did y'all? What did?
We had doubles,
Okay.
and you know it's
Oh,
like
that's breakfast.
yeah,
Yeah.
that's breakfast.
I
a
thought
breakfast food.
that was just a street food thing.
It's
It
like
is.
it's our version of like an egg McMuffin. Yeah.
Yeah.
But I'm just curious, like if you guys did go to the Bahamas, since you're familiar with the Bahamas, would you stay in the hotel part, or would you try and look for something on the outskirts, like where the locals are?
I mean, I would stay.
I would stay anywhere.
I would stay anywhere.
Well, I know you
Yeah.
guys would.
if
but
there's a beach.
If it's close to the beach,
right,
Yeah.
right.
if it's like you can access the beach and maybe it has a pool or something, I would stay there.
I wonder how much that would cost. Like, I think that's probably the way to go to experience like the local life there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I know
Definitely.
because I was looking into it. They got a lot of Airbnbs that were pretty cheap.
Yeah.
But this was a couple years ago. I don't know how it is now.
But also, that's where we had the conch too, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Did
where-
we ever show that stuff?
I don't think we ever
I think
did, man.
I
I'm
remember
looking
seeing-
for it
maybe
now.
you showed it to me. I saw it.
Yeah. I'm
Yeah,
trying-
that conch was so good.
Yeah.
Yeah, the dude just took it right out the bucket. Yeah, I just got this out the ocean.
Yeah.
And he
It is good.
made a salad right there.
It is. I think you can't. So you can't be squeamish with that kind of stuff. If you are, you're not even gonna even give it a try.
Right.
You know.
It was good though.
It was good. I've had it plenty of times. This is very good.
Yeah, it's really good.
Look,
If you like seafood,
this is
Oh, you got the elevator footage?
which one you want?
I don't know. I put together the whole video.
Yeah, what happened to that?
I don't know what I did with it.
Yeah, I'm gonna text you this.
Text me the clip. Yeah. The conch one. Oh, the conch.
you guys got to explain what this thing is that you guys are talking about.
So conch is
It's a mollusk.
it's a mollusk. It's like that shell that everyone sees them blowing on.
yeah,
and,
yeah,
you
yeah.
know.
It's in everything.
Yeah, it's in. You always see it. It's like that pretty
It's
shell.
a giant one.
Right.
Giant sea one.
But they go in the ocean, they dig it up out of the sand, and then there's this giant snail inside of it. But it tastes like shellfish, you know. So they take it out raw. They take it out like uncooked. And is that what you sent me the whole video?
Just what I had.
Did you send the video or?
Yeah.
Okay.
Video.
Oh, there's the elevator one. Oh, you didn't have him pulling it out. Let me see. I think
I sent you two.
I think I got it where he's cutting up the whole thing.
You had it too? You ate it?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I had some of theirs. I was on a budget. No, I think
It was a lot though.
I didn't have cash. That's what happened.
Yeah.
Okay.
They had cash. I didn't.
Yeah, because stuff was expensive out there too in the streets.
Oh, is it really?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was.
Is it American?
That
or
was
is
like
it-
$15.
Yeah, they
What-
were taking American dollars.
That's the size. It was big though.
Oh,
Like,
wow. Yeah, like a ceviche, basically.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
pretty much. Like he put lime and orange juice in it.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that's the one I was looking for. Let me see if I can maximize this. All right, go, John. Pull this up. All right.
Where's that? At the beach
Don't
or
have
at the
no
market?
audio.
In the market.
This is in the market, like the strip where all the restaurants are. So this dude.
Oh,
is just,
okay. So
this
you already
dude,
caught it. Yeah.
This dude is just at a place. He has a bunch of conchs that he got in a bucket, and so that's our driver there. So he's basically what he does is pulls it out the shell, cracks the shell, pulls it out, and then he pulls the piston out, which is basically the penis. And we was all like, "No, I'm good."
Pass.
No penis for me.
Yeah, because you know what everyone always says, you eat that
aphrodisiac,
and
yeah.
then you have babies.
It's
or
always the
whatever.
penis,
Yeah,
too.
right. So then he has like these fresh peppers, onions, tomatoes right there, lime juice. Yeah.
That's nice.
Hold on, I'll pull up the next one so you can see him like preparing it. So he's cutting it up raw, you know. With that, what do they call that, James?
A poignard.
A poignard.
But we call it. But you guys call it machete.
But then you also call it a cutlash.
Yeah,
See,
cutlass.
some people would be skeeved out by the way
The way it's not that sanitary.
yeah.
Especially now, COVID.
Yeah. This was right
This was
when COVID
right when
was
COVID-
hitting.
Yeah.
Yep.
Oh really? Oh really?
It
Bro,
was.
like when we were going to the Bahamas, remember when we were
you
entering
did say
in,
that. Yeah.
they were checking all of us. They were like
Yeah,
asking
especially
if
if you were from China.
we, asking if we
Yeah.
had been to China, and then like they were telling
They
us,
got it right.
yeah, and then they were telling us, our driver was telling us that like there was a new resort being built by the Chinese, but the ambassador kicked them all out because they found out that like he was like, if this thing is as bad as they're saying, they could wipe out our whole island. You know what I mean? So at that time, they really didn't know what we were dealing with yet. So they were like, nope, y'all got to go. Get
I
out.
like that. I heard that a lot about the Caribbean. Throughout the Caribbean, they stopped all. Most of the countries stopped all sort of travel because they are small. They don't have the infrastructure for in case something goes wrong.
Yeah. What is this? This is in iCloud.
I guess it was too big.
Yeah. Let's see.
This is the infamous elevator.
This is the elevator.
Infamous elevator.
So we just get done at the beach, the pool, all
nights and all the fun times. We about to go to sound check. We're on the elevator. Jake gets off to get on his floor.
That's right. You got off right before us.
Yes.
And all of a sudden the elevator just starts jerking and it stops. And now we're stuck on the elevator. We don't know what floor we're in between.
Yeah, it said 11 on there, but now it doesn't say anything.
Hello?
Hi, could you tell me when the elevator starts to move for you?
Right when we called you.
Pardon?
Right when we called you.
No, I said when the elevator starts moving, could you let me know?
Oh,
okay.
Yeah, yep.
Okay.
We gotta get the sound check.
Yo, an hour in the elevator.
It was 30 minutes.
No, it wasn't.
No.
I'm joking.
Juanita was here right now.
Panic.
We are.
Hello?
Oh, there's really no way for you to climb out either.
No, you could pull the doors open.
Pull the
we,
door
we,
out.
we tried pulling them open.
We probably could have climbed out, but you don't know. That thing would go cring.
Yeah, see, we started like trying to pull the door open.
They need to know what floor this is. Hello? Hi, we're right in between 11 and 12.
You're between 11 and 12? Okay. Engineer,
He's down here.
Oh, okay, you're down there. Okay. We're in
the
between.
elevator? I don't advise you to crawl out of the elevator.
She's like, don't crawl out the elevator.
Do not attempt to crawl out because they're going to send the elevator down to the loft level, okay?
Okay.
All right.
Let's skip forward.
Does this show you getting out?
I don't know. I don't know if this is the video I put together or if this is just a clip. Dude, nah, this is just a clip when we were just stuck. I don't know if this is where the power goes out.
I think I sent one where the power goes
And you
out.
couldn't really, I don't think, did you send something to
down.
us? Like while you were in there?
My service was dead in the elevator.
Yeah. I think I could only I was sending y'all updates
Okay.
because
remember.
I had to let you know where we were.
All right.
And there was really nothing else I could do,
Mm-hmm.
Let me see.
I forgot you just got out, yo.
Yeah, I just got out.
Bro,
and then
that
you guys-
reminds me of Times Square. Jake just, he just slips away.
Yeah. Right before the danger happens. Oh, is this when the power went out?
Yeah.
Jake knows.
That's my flashlight.
Yeah, so Moon
That's
put
the
his
thing, I
flash.
didn't know.
So
But it sounds like
Yeah,
you know.
put it
You
up.
always dipping out.
so this is right when the power went out. And now we're in pitch black, but Moon put his flashlight on. That's why you can
Okay.
see me. And they're not communicating with us at this point. Like, they're just... But they keep forgetting to turn the intercom system off. There was one point where, like, we heard them laughing at us.
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember you talking.
Yeah.
That got me kind of upset.
Yeah. Then the lights came back on. Oh, that's when we got
that's
out.
when we got
okay. So yeah, that was at the very end. And the elevator finally got down to the lobby. And as soon as we got out, they rushed us. The management rushed us. Like, do you need water? Are you okay? Do you need a medic? Like, and then they started doing
Don't
damage
sue-
control.
AKA don't sue us.
They started doing damage control at that point where it was like,
Y'all didn't milk this, did you?
no, because we're
Not really.
Not really. I mean, after the fact, we went to the front desk because they said, what did they say they was gonna do? No,
Give
they
us
said
a
they were gonna
free
reach out
drink.
to. They said they were gonna reach out to us to let us know like how they were gonna take care of us. You know what I mean? Because
Yeah.
of what happened. So then, like we go up to our room and there was like a ticket for a free drink at the bar.
For real.
And we was like, okay.
We were like, when we came out, there was people like waiting for the elevator with drinks in their hands because
yes. So the people that were down on the first floor waiting for nobody could take elevators. They were all stuck.
Yeah.
So to keep the people calm on the first floor, they were giving them free champagne the whole time.
Right.
So we're like, We was in the elevator. We didn't get nothing. Like we didn't get no free champagne.
Right.
Yeah, because Steve and then was like, yeah, we were just drinking free champagne.
Drinking champagne. We didn't do nothing.
So like y'all gave us one free drink. Like what is that? So then we were talking to the girl at the front desk for how long we were going in on her for a minute, just like trying to get her to understand. Like listen, because then she kept one. The way they play the game is, well, what do you want to feel whole? You know what I mean?
Right.
And it's like, I'm not gonna tell you that.
Yeah,
like,
right.
what are you gonna give me? You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Like,
And we told her, they left on the intercom when we were in the elevator.
Yes.
We heard you guys talking trash and laughing.
yeah. And so she really wasn't taking us serious until we showed her the video.
Yeah, we showed.
And I said we were gonna post it, right? So then then we showed her the video of them laughing at us. And then she got scared. She's like, please don't do that. No. And then she went back and talked to the manager. And then she was like, we're willing to compensate you. And they gave us like some free points.
Yeah.
And then they gave us they gave us like 3 free drink tickets and like some other stuff. But because what she wanted to do was give us credits for the resort. But we were like, we're leaving tomorrow. Like, I got it. That would have been cool. Like, she was going to give us a bunch of free credits that we could have used anywhere on the resort, you know, and we would have been chilling the whole time, right? Like, just been able to get free stuff the whole time. But we're leaving tomorrow. That does me no good. You know what I mean? So you got to give me something else. So, but yeah, that was a crazy situation in the Bahamas a year ago.
We're not gonna say the name.
The beginning of COVID.
Yep. All right, so let's talk about what we wanted to get into today. First of all, Moan brought up the fact that they have the rover on Mars.
Oh yeah, the
now.
Mars. You guys
And
see that?
Have you seen?
I haven't seen it.
Have you seen any of the pictures from that?
Do you think it's really Mars?
It's in the studio, man.
Let me see if I can pull it
It's
up.
where's that place? Death Valley, California.
Some people are saying it's actually Greenland.
Greenland.
Yeah, like some spot in Greenland where they can get these shots. Let me see. NASA releases spectacular panoramic view taken by Mars. This is a spectacular view, guys. I love it. I love it when they say that, and then you look at it, and it's like, yeah, pull that up. It releases a spectacular view, guys. What are we looking at? Like,
Yeah, it's not
Johnny Five alive.
like the fact that the shadows and like it's weird. How's the
Yeah.
shadow there? Like what?
How is that spectacular?
Yeah, I don't know. Like,
dirt. It's a lot of dirt.
a lot of dirt.
I guess they mean spectacular because it's Mars.
Yeah.
I saw some article talking about like they sent these microbes into space to see if they could withstand certain elements that they could possibly exist on Mars, like things like they're doing a lot of stuff. Tesla's like
technology?
adamant about no like biological material.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. But then James, you brought up something. You brought up a theory that you had. Let's talk about that.
I don't know. I was just thinking. I was like, what if Adam and Eve didn't sin? What if there was no sin, and humans were?
What if we never entered this fallen state, and we
sinful
were
state.
at our godlike potential?
Right. Because it, really early on in the Bible, it says when Nimrod comes into scene. That's in Genesis. That they began to build this tower that even God had to come down and see what they were doing because it was so magnificent. So obviously, whatever it was, whatever structure they were building had some significance to it.
Yeah.
So I'm thinking, if they were able to do that within 1,000 years, or however long that would have been, 1,000 to 15,000, maybe 2,000 years, what would that be for 7,000 years later? Where would man be? What would our capabilities be in a sinless world? And were those planets out there, the 9 planets in the solar system, would have been in the reach of human exploration without the fallen state?
You mean like we could just float there?
No, not float, but I'm saying whatever technology or however we would have been able to do it, we would have had would we have access? Is what I'm asking. I'm
Maybe,
not sure.
maybe.
But from what they say, like there's really not much to explore there, right? Like,
Right.
Jupiter-
But were those planets, are they in their state? Because when man fell, were those planets, did they fall? Did the solar system fall? Did the creation? Or
I mean, what if it was before that? Like,
it could be.
like what if?
It could be.
What if? Because it says the Earth was without form or void, but
Right.
what if the Earth was still around? It was just something that
it was like a Mars.
right, like
Yeah, it was
maybe.
desolate.
Yeah.
What if the serpent or Satan was a being that had like authority in the earth before
Mm-hmm.
Adam?
God
you
made
know,
Adam,
you
which
know.
is why the serpent became jealous.
right.
Yeah.
And then when you look to the stars, it's connected to the estate of the angelic in
Right.
a way, you know. So maybe like the destitute, though the way it is now, like where you
Wasn't-
can't live on
Right,
it. Maybe that
right.
has to do with that. Like
What it was.
Right.
Because it says something interesting, right? Like even when it says like when a demon is casted out, it goes to dry places and finds no rest. Like what does that mean?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Is it
Goes to
Mars?
Mars.
like another dimension? Like what is that? Because it's a spiritual being.
there's a lot of like, because you think about like astrology
Yeah.
and how they, you know, people look to the stars. What's
Yeah, the stars were
What's-
very important
what's,
for.
The zodiac and all
Zodiac?
that.
Yeah, that's what I wanted to say. Like people looking at that. So
But
it's-
even like farmers, like back in the day, they had to
There's
go
some signs and
by
wonders,
Yeah.
the stars to know when to plant, when to
Yeah.
harvest.
That's
when
true.
To, you know
That's
what I'm
true.
saying? Like
Little
they
different.
They relied on that.
but I'm saying people who like those are where their gods live.
Right. Right.
Like they're for signs, but but pagans,
Right.
you know, that's where their gods live.
Right. That's why the Romans and the Greeks first named. Well, the Romans named the planets after gods.
Yeah, I think it's the Pleiades, or it might be Orion, but one of them is connected to like the constellations
Orion.
in the Bible, and then it's probably Orion, and then it's connected to fool, like in the Hebrew.
Mm,
You know, like it's the same word for fool.
okay.
Yeah, which is interesting.
Yeah, it's interesting when you think about that. Like, what was the timeline of like? Because we know that Lucifer, was shot down like lightning,
And that was before the
cast
creation,
out of
right?
heaven. But when did that happen in the timeline? Yeah, like
Right.
was he in the earth before?
Well, that could be a little different, but it could be, you know,
But
different
he-
things.
but
Because
he
even
obviously has access to these places. He wherever that is,
Yeah,
in another dimension. You know what I mean? Like,
there's a lot of
it's a lot.
there's
But
a lot of mystery.
but,
out there.
a lot
can
of
human
mystery.
beings like when you look at how they move these stones?
Yeah.
Is there vibrational sequency, electronics, or something that they could have been using that's beyond what we know? Maybe we don't have access to it now.
Maybe the stones is a gateway to these planets.
You know, I mean, like you look at you ever seen Machu Picchu?
Yeah,
You ever look at how did they get?
yeah. How did they
these
build
rocks
these
out there,
megalithic structures?
right?
Right.
How did they get them there?
Especially with primitive tools.
right.
Yeah.
How did they cut these stones the way they did with these?
Who was the guy
primitive tools?
that talked about the pyramids, like moving the pyramids with like sound?
Ancient aliens?
Was it? That wasn't ancient.
Graham
Alien.
Hancock.
I think I seen it
a
on.
bunch of people who
Yeah.
talk
where it
about
says
these things.
Yeah.
But it's all over, and it seems to be on the equator, like on that the equator belt,
Yeah.
where they seem to be very similar.
Right.
So obviously, what I'm saying is, human beings had they were engineering and they had the capability. Was it Tubal Cain was the
Yeah. Tubal Cain.
he's a metallurgy, right? So these people were practicing certain crafts, so they had ability.
Yeah.
God didn't take that away from them. They had ability, but they were using it in a corrupt way.
Well-
what I'm
Well,
saying,
not that they had ability, they actually
were
were
given
given that
knowledge.
ability
Given, yeah.
So that's where I think
by the
right.
these
So that's
fallen
where I
ones.
think
The Watchers.
the Book of Enoch comes into play because it kind of fills in a lot of those holes where it's like states that these watchers came in and gave them this information, gave them access to technology.
Maybe too soon. Maybe the watchers were meant to give us, but in due time.
Right. Or we were meant to learn it on our own and not be given the cheat. We talked about it being a cheat code, like Game Genie. You know what I mean? Like, you know how like when Game Genie came out, even if you had it on a game you never played before, like
you're gonna go right to the cheat sheet.
Yeah, and it could ruin the game. You know what I mean? So I think in a way that could have been
Right.
you know, what they were doing. They were giving them access to a lot of the secrets of how this realm works.
Yeah, I mean, think about a watcher is like a key in the Bible. A watcher is mean to watch means shamar, or shamak, shamaraka, which is watcher, and it's connected to shama, which is to pay attention. So like, just to get the understanding, and then Shem is name, but it's also character. So it means authority or seat of authority. So Shem, Shema, Shemar, right? Shem to Shema means you pay attention to the one who's in character or who's seated in authority, right? To the name, because like your father, you carry his name. See? So like a son of God, because these watchers were son of God, so they had to keep what they were given by the Father, right? And Shema is just Shem with the I on it, which is the ayin, and the ayin means to experience or to see. So you're paying attention. Shema means to pay attention. Like when Solomon said, I want an understanding heart. It means, he said, I want a Shema heart. I want a heart that pays attention to you, right? So it's just like a child. A child has to pay attention in order to get what the father has. Like if you don't pay attention, you're not going to receive it. That's why kids, you pay attention, you know, so you can get it. So then you can get it, and then you got to keep it, right? And where they came down to Mount Hermon, and Mount Hermon, in the Hebrew, it's connected to like keeping something sacred. So if you bring something down that you weren't supposed to, you actually desecrate
So they
it.
weren't fallen yet when they they were when they came down.
They were when they came down.
Yeah. But they had an authority
And
over.
that's Genesis 6.
Yeah.
They were watchers or keepers or guards over certain things in creation.
Yeah. That they weren't at that time. They weren't allowed to give man that. Not yet. You know what I mean?
Right. And they're connected, like Jamie said, they kind of sped up time because it's the same, like there were 200 of them. And then there's the sons of Issachar, which was a tribe of the Israelites, and they were 200 chiefs, and it says they knew the times and seasons. So see how there's like, they
There
were
was
like,
knowledge, yeah.
they were keepers of the times and seasons. They knew when, and that's connected to the seasons, sowing, plant, you know, basically sowing,
Reaping.
waiting,
Right.
And waiting is the keeping time
Yeah, right.
because it's faith.
Yeah.
You wait for something to happen.
And
If
it's
you lose
also
hope,
stewarding time too.
yeah.
You know what I mean?
So like, there's so much in there, and with God, like his name, they call, like the Hebrews called him Hashem. You know, the name. He's the character, and even the heavens. Heavens are Shemaim. Shemaim. That's actually name and waters connected together.
Okay.
And then the high heavens is Shemaim.
Okay.
You know, so it's like a lot of this is connected to his seat of authority,
Right.
his name, his character.
But why do they always describe as the waters above? You know what I mean? Like, what does that mean?
Yeah, because it's spiritual.
Right, I know, but I
What do you
mean,
mean?
like, I'm saying, like, but what does that mean? Like spirit, like a spiritual waters.
Was that
Waters are like, when it says the voices of many waters, you know, it has to do with like the sea. It's a dwelling. It's a place where you can dwell. It's a place where things get created out of. right?
Yeah.
The earth came out of the sea.
Mm-hmm.
So when you look at Revelations, the beast comes out of the sea.
Right.
Right. It's where things come out, but what comes out of it is what is it going to be when the Holy Spirit hovered over the face of the waters,
Right.
right? Let there be light, and then there was light, right? So it's a place of creation, right? It's a place of spirit and void that can bring up something.
It's like it's almost like the unhijacked version of the theory of evolution, where it's like all life came out of the water. You know.
Yeah.
And I heard a Christian creationist, scientific from a scientific point of view, said that the Earth in its pristine form would have had almost like a greenhouse effect, where everything, because there was no rain, there was
Right.
no nothing. That canopy would have amplified everything on the planet, so the oxygen would have been amazing. Plants and
And it would have allowed humans to live for 1,000 years.
1,000 years. Because they even say this, like even now, when someone is going through like a healing process, if they go into like a hyperbolic change or there's pure oxygen, they heal faster.
Right.
Fruits that are grown in that controlled environment grow bigger, healthier, more nutrients. You know what I mean? So imagine what that would have been prior to the actual fall.
Right.
Whatever these beings were, obviously watched over man. And it had to be a while because daughters were born to them. So enough time had passed.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
And you know that they produced giants themselves when they
Right.
had offspring with.
Right.
And if you look at it like times, because they sped up time, God had to bring in something.
Yeah.
So he brought the flood in.
Right.
Right.
Slowed
So
it up.
It was a reset. It was
yeah.
the great reset.
So it's like
Yeah.
it's crazy because
Godly reset.
yeah.
people look at it like his judgment in an evil way, but it's actually in a good way.
Right.
He did that because if he didn't do that, there
Well,
would be no
look
going
at
back.
what was happening.
That's
Yeah.
what, yeah.
You know what I'm
there
saying?
would be
like,
no going back.
imagine, yeah, that's kind of like why he had to do what he did with the Tower of Babel. Because if there's no going back, everything's lost.
Yeah.
You
Right.
know?
Which is why I was saying, if it in a world, if man didn't fall,
Right.
what the planets that exist out there now, what would it? You know what I mean? We would be able to. Could we explore them?
That's an interesting theory, but I think the planets are more of like it says in the Bible that those like even the term planet comes from the Greeks and you know what I mean. Like it was always just viewed as the celestial beings in the sky. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I think
Not necessarily a place where you can go.
go, yeah,
you know what I mean? Like,
But it would still be interesting to explore. You know what I mean? To see it. You know what I mean?
yeah.
I think Mayim is the number 9, and for waters, and which it's interesting because 9 in the Bible in the Hebrews talks about like bearing something, bearing a baby, bearing fruit, bearing character, 9 fruits of the Spirit, 9 gifts of the Spirit. So it's about bearing stuff, and when you look at like what happened with the waters, they covered the waters so that the earth could be reborn, right? You even look at baptism. You submerge yourself in water, and you come back out. But what's interesting is even with with Babylon, I was just thinking about this because voices are connected to waters, right? How he changed the languages, right? He separated the languages, and it's either 70 or 72. Because if it's 72,
That's
7 plus 2 is 9,
yeah.
which is interesting. So there's something there with that. And then he's going to bring them all back into one, like the 70 nations. That's what the Bible's all about, like
Right.
bringing the nations back into one from
Right.
one man,
Right.
one God, And that's what he put on Israel. you
Right.
know?
Because it all started from one man. That
Right.
All these
And
nations.
Look
came.
what he says to Israel. Shema, hear, O Israel, Shema. And that's literally this is the Shema. That's what the Israel or Jews talk about. Hear, O Israel, the Lord God is one. You shall love the Lord with all your heart, strength, mind. We were talking about that with how like all the commandments go back into one. Like when you break them all down, the
Yeah.
613, 365 of the do nots, 248 of the do's, It all goes back into one. So it's really just about how it all gets messed up by man, but it all gets reconciled by the one man.
Right.
You know, and he's just reconciling. That's what the gifts are for. You know, that's what the character, all the 9 gifts, it's to bear the truth. Because another thing with 9 is sin, transgression, iniquity. They're all the number 9. Like they all break down to the number 9. So you can bear the wrong thing. You know, you can bear death.
Right. Couple comments. Melinda Jones, you are teaching, sir. Tiffany said, amen. God's got this one. Of these days, I'll be going to one of your concerts live or podcast. God is good. He'll make a way where it seems to be no way. Prayers going up. Love you. Hope you all have a great night. Stay blessed and stay safe. You too, Tiffany. We'll see you next time. Naomi said amen with the prayer hands and one blue heart. Thank you, Naomi. Adam Field said, wow. Yes, wow, indeed. And Melinda Jones also said, wow, wow, indeed. Yeah, it's so crazy when you start figuring out like how all of these things
Just come together.
they're all connected, man.
Yeah.
Like and even when like Jake has been digging into that numbers thing and like how it's all in there. You know what I mean? So it's just crazy.
Yeah. That's one thing really cool. We were talking about like how it all goes to one and how like you have the 2 halves, and the thing that really hit me, and this is like how much God loves us. So there's 365 commandments that say do not do this, do not do that, right? There's 365 times in the Bible where it says fear not.
Right.
So when you connect those two
Expands the
things,
balance.
Yeah.
it's God is always saying he's our Father telling us, he's saying don't do these things
Right.
because you're gonna fear if you do these things.
Right.
You'll do these things out of fear.
Right.
So fear not. You know, it's
Right.
the same.
These things
It's
are
on the
connected
same line.
to,
It's-
to fear.
Right.
All of these things I'm telling you not to do are because you are, if you do them, you are of a spirit of fear.
Yeah, and you're gonna birth the wrong things.
Right.
Which
Yeah, it's crazy because not too long ago I was watching the second version of It. And they were explaining that your fear is what fuels him.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
The more you're afraid, you know, it's like funny how like these secular things take from those
They
concepts.
do, man.
And they make it their own, but it's not their own. Though,
Right.
you know what I mean? It comes out of it comes out of the Bible and
Yeah.
God. You know what I mean? But it's like as he's saying that, I was like, this is like exactly because the kid was telling the other kid, no. Don't
be afraid.
Don't be
Yeah.
afraid.
Yeah.
You know, that's how he gets stronger.
And there's other story plots that
Oh, they all do.
yeah,
they
that
all
talk
steal from
about
it, yeah.
like fear being the fuel that's
Right,
used, or
right.
fear being like the way it can sense you. You know what I mean?
Right.
yeah, I remember watching this. Yeah, you guys ever watch a show called The Sinner?
Yes, me and Liz watched that show.
So the
It's on Netflix now.
third season,
yeah,
the guy in there,
Yeah.
they're talking about like
getting to
he's not alive unless they push the boundaries,
Right.
And they were like burying themselves alive,
right,
doing all this crazy stuff, and then the guy, like, the next step is to kill people,
Right.
And you know, it turns into a crazy mess,
Right.
Basically, like it makes no sense at the end.
You have to push past your fear of any situation,
right.
in order to really live. Basically, you know what I mean?
And like it turned out, the guy was afraid to die.
Yeah.
Like he was so afraid at the end
Yeah.
to die. But the point is, that's where you gotta live to feel alive when you're in sin. That's where you gotta live to feel alive. And if you think it's not untrue,
like
it's just
skydiving.
Yeah.
They do it in the secular world too.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
It's not untrue, but it's not the truth.
Right.
You know, like you can feel alive when you push yourself to do things, right? And that's why people do stuff a lot. It becomes a what do they call it?
Adrenaline rush.
Adrenaline rush. There
Yeah.
you go. An adrenaline rush where you feel like, you know, you go out and you do these.
So why does adrenaline rush happen? That's our primal nature for like the fight or flight thing. It's like if you're in a situation where you need that adrenaline to escape something crazy.
And there's something about it though, where even if you're like, what you're saying is completely spiritual, but it happens in a natural too.
Yeah.
Where like with soldiers, they put them in like the Navy SEAL times. They put them in the most stressful situation to get used to that. Like they use it too. You know what I
Train
mean?
them, yeah.
So so that they don't get overcome with
They
fear
don't get
in
overcome.
those situations.
And they're doing it with like William. You guys have it's a dog. It's called the Belgian Malinois. They use it. The Navy SEALs use them. Like these are like the elite type of dogs. And he was saying that he's training them, and they go through that. They put them in situations where things are going off, and their natural instinct to want to chase something, and they put them under these stress. And the same thing that they do with the soldiers, they try to do with the dog. So the dog and the soldier are one. You know, and I was like, wow, like how do they, like it's studying the mind, they know that. But you're right, it comes from that. It comes from the biblical world.
Well,
and then
it's all spiritual.
Yeah.
And it's
And
just
these are a form of it. Yeah, yeah.
Looks like a German Shepherd almost.
And they teach them how to handle, like while things are going on and tanks and bombs, the dog is like by you, and he won't leave your side.
Nothing will frighten
deters
this dog.
him.
Wow, that's crazy.
yeah. If first of all, animals are more connected to that realm than we are. But
Connected to what realm?
the spirit realm?
Animals are?
Yeah.
Really?
Like they have a greater sense of it than we do. Like just naturally.
Is that why the scary movies they always
Animals always see the ghosts.
the cats are always the ones that see the
Yeah,
spirit.
or
Balaam's donkey saw the angel with the sword.
Yeah,
You know.
yeah.
But
But man is more conscious of.
Yeah.
So why? So explain that. So animals are more connected, but man have authority over them.
Yeah, because man fell. Man fell. So our connection to that realm dwindles, and because we dwindle, that's even what happened, like to death. So what is the spirit realm? It's feel you. How do we connect with it? Through our emotions, through our feelings. You know what I mean? So literally, if you don't know how to feel, then the enemy's gonna tell you how to feel.
so you think animals can like see stuff we can't? Like I mean, I know
Yeah.
their senses are heightened, like smell and taste, and
I think so.
but they're running off of instinct. They don't know.
They don't. No, I mean they're not intelligent. They're not conscious like we are to deal with it. But it's funny because go back to Satan and the serpent in the garden. It says that he was crafty, you know, or
That's a question I have. Was it actual serpent, or was it we're just saying that because of translation?
Right.
I mean it's the Nakash, and it can be a type of.
It was an animal, but we don't know if it's a snake itself, right?
I mean I don't.
What does Nakash translate to?
Nakash translates to serpent, but there's other, like you have seraph, but Nakash like literally translates to serpent.
But it could walk.
I
Because
mean, I guess.
yeah, whatever it
But-
had the ability to do.
It had to
But
because
it's-
he got cursed to crawl on his belly.
But in
after-
Revelations 12, it says that ancient serpent. So you know it's connected, definitely to the dragon, to
Maybe it was a type of dragon.
to the devil.
yeah, maybe it was
Yeah.
some kind of dragon.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, in the Chinese culture they talk. They
But the funny thing is in there, dude. I just noticed this numbers back to numbers. It's 369. 369.
What
you
is?
know,
What's 369?
Nakash.
Oh, okay.
And the way it's said in that specific verse, not Nakash.
That's the Hebrew name. Nakash is the Hebrew name of the snake.
Yeah,
Okay.
but the way, because there's different forms. So the form that it has is 369, which is on all the levels. You know, one of like the different planes, and Satan had 9 stones.
Yeah.
That's from Ezekiel 28. And another interesting thing is Nakash and Messiah have the same number that breaks down to 7. They have the same exact number.
So was that the first possession though? Because obviously Satan possessed this creature, right?
No, that wasn't a possession.
How did he? Did he transform into it or?
Yeah, like I don't understand that either.
Yeah.
That's a weird.
I mean,
that's one of those things that's
I
always
mean,
weird.
you have seraphim. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You have a being, a son of God that fell.
Mm-hmm.
So he's not what he was.
Right.
Right. So, but he was created by God.
Mhm.
Right. But you have like a seraph, which is, it's a guardian in heaven, you know, a throne guardian.
Mhm.
But you also have cherubim, seraphim, cherubim, or cherub.
Seraphim is at the top of the angelic realm.
They're guardians, so they're like at the throne. They keep the throne, but they're cherubim and seraphim are like, it's almost hard to tell if they're not the same being, just from different perspectives
different
sometimes
angles, yeah.
within the Bible.
Yeah.
But he had the ability, Satan, as a seraphim, has the ability to either communicate through this creature or transform into this creature. Like, you know,
Well, it says that he walked in the fiery stones, and that's connected to, like, even with the seraphim, they, like, if you look at Isaiah 6, one of the seraphim put the fiery coal on the lips of Isaiah to purify his lips.
Right.
So if you look, like, it's connected to what purifies. And a serpent is about wisdom, right? Be wise as serpents.
Yeah.
So there's something connected to the whole purifying thing. And I'm trying to think of,
Because that's
it's connected to your mouth,
Right.
you know?
because she doesn't react. Like, you know, this creature is talking to her.
Yeah.
She doesn't react to it.
Yeah.
You know, so
Yeah.
I always had the ability to speak.
Yeah. Yeah. That's the thing that is hard to get. It's like, all right, what was this thing?
Yeah.
Yeah,
what I mean?
but that's what it's not what it should have been, right?
Right.
It's
Did
not
did
what
it
it
hypnotize her, you know.
hypnotizer.
Like,
Yeah.
This creature, this creature's
Because
role.
they were
Yeah.
alone, you know what I
Right.
mean?
Well,
it
says
came to talk
it's-
to her.
yeah.
It says he was crafty,
Right.
and even that word crafty, it's arum in the Hebrew, and it comes from the word, like the primitive word smooth, right? So like
Smooth operator.
smooth operate. Yeah, that's the
We
same
were
thing.
talking about
That's the
that,
same
yeah.
thing
Right, yeah.
I thought of. So
Right.
it's something about like becoming smooth or becoming bare. But it's about like even crafty and has to do with like being very aware, consciously aware, right? So that's how you got to look at Satan. He's a smart,
Yeah.
created being.
Right, but I think what he's asking is like this thing that approaches someone. Is it something that you've seen before? If it's something that you never seen before that fell from this other realm, wouldn't you react to it? Wouldn't you be weary of it? Like, wouldn't you be afraid of
Yeah,
it?
she just starts
You
talking
know?
to it.
I mean, it doesn't say exactly,
Yeah, yeah.
but I know that like that's why I said earlier, like maybe he was there beforehand,
Yeah.
you know,
Interacted.
because it says, excuse me, it says that he was in the garden, right? He was in the garden before Adam and Eve were there, right? It says that he was in the garden, so you know, in his state of beauty,
And beautification, but
yeah.
But he didn't fall yet.
right.
Yeah.
But maybe his state of beautification, maybe he was a serpent in that state as well. you know?
Well, that's what I'm trying to say. A seraph is connected to a serpent.
Okay.
Because Jesus says it, just as this serpent was lifted up in the desert, that's word is Nakash, but also it says seraph. And so like, that's connected to seraphim
Right,
in
right.
the heaven, you
Right.
know? So that's what I'm saying. They're connected.
Yeah.
There's something
There's
there.
something connected
that's-
about if just it being a serpent that we think of like a snake.
So that's probably what it
Yeah.
is. We're thinking of it as we know serpents
Yeah,
today.
right.
Yeah.
But
But
it-
you,
Maybe that's
Which
what
is-
maybe that's what the curse became because God said you're gonna,
Crawl on your belly.
eat the dust for the rest of your days and crawl on your belly. But maybe that was also in allegorical terms. You know what I mean? Like where it's like you said, you go seeking for dry places, finding rest, and finding none. It says that he will eat off of the dust. You know what I mean? So I don't know. It's just It's one of those
Yeah.
things that it's one of those mysteries that
Yeah.
it's
Yeah.
hard. It's hard to break down for people to get, you know. And it's one of those openings that people always use. I always see that
Yeah.
YouTube advertisement of some professor that's like,
Trying to-
you know,
yeah.
a talking snake. Like, what would that? You know what I mean?
Yeah. Because- you know why? Because it was put in cartoon form, and
Yeah.
they emphasized the
Right.
snake.
But I think the key is that you can't because it's connected straight up to reasoning.
Right.
So it's really connected to our logic, and like our own minds aren't going to be able to figure it
Right.
out, you know.
it's-
And even in that aspect, because you look at like the 4 living creatures in Revelations and how similar they are to in Ezekiel with the
Yeah.
cherubim,
Right.
and then the seraphim. Like
Yeah.
these creatures, like are they the same? Are they separate? But are you seeing a different side of it? Are
Yeah.
you seeing a different perspective? Because it's spiritual,
Right.
right?
It's like the Tesseract. It's like
Right.
based-
Exactly.
Depending on what angle you view it, it takes on a different shape.
Right.
So someone seeing it from over here is like, no, it's kind of like a trapezoid, and then the person over
Yeah.
here is like, nah, it looks like a cube.
yeah.
You know what I mean?
The way you're standing.
Right.
And
right.
that's what, even with like, I think that's what we're learning with in the church more than ever now, because there's been so much division. Because people are like, no, I got this revelation
Right,
over
right,
here.
right.
I got that. That's all spiritual. That's all you're seeing in the spirit. You're receiving in the spirit. And when really we know in part, we prophesy in part. So it's great to have what we see, but we gotta connect it to what
That's why people
somebody else
can't
sees.
ever break down the Ezekiel's wheel thing,
Yeah.
because it's so like, it's so
Yeah.
just one like it's his perspective of what he saw,
Yeah.
but people always want to try to depict it in some way.
That's what
It's
I
like-
learned. Like, don't go and try to figure out
You
what
get-
you,
get
don't
lost.
know.
Yeah.
Let God show you. Like,
Yeah.
I wait. I want to know, you know,
Right.
but I'm gonna wait till He shows me, and I'm okay. God, I want to know what that is. I'll even pray about it. Like,
Right.
but He might not show me. Sometimes He'll show me like years later, you
Right.
know. But I think we just gotta like
Yeah.
be
But-
led.
But as you were saying that too, I think these beings, these sons of gods, not just the ones that fell, but they obviously seem to have different abilities,
Yeah.
right? Like even the ones that came down to Mount Hermon and had sex with women,
Right.
how were they able to change their spiritual body into the physical? Because they would have to produce sperm to do it. How, you know?
Well, we know that it's possible because even in Genesis, when it talks about how when
Abraham.
when-
They met with Abraham.
not only that, I was going to say when Noah was what's his name, was in Sodom,
Lot.
Lot.
and
Yeah, but those were the same angels. That
yeah,
were
well,
Abraham
right,
first.
right. They were with Abraham first, but then when they went there, he said,
so they can move in and out of dimensions,
right, because
But
he said like
they ate
they
food.
wanted to try to rape these
Yeah.
angels, like
and
that's
they
who-
ate food too.
right, right,
And
She
that's
ate food.
another reason why it's not possession, because angels don't possess. Demons do.
right.
The offspring of
Those are the
angels.
offspring, yeah.
Right, right.
So demons are the ones that possess because they were embodied and then are out of body.
Right. With
Angels always had
desire to
but
bodies.
they
become in a
but they
body.
have their soul goes nowhere because their spirit goes nowhere.
These are the demonic creatures. They are the disembodied spirits of the Nephilim.
The Nephilim, yes.
Okay, this is the
Right.
offspring. Okay,
This is the Raphaim in
Yeah.
the Bible.
right. Because again, I always ask that question. I've asked you that question before.
Yeah.
You know, Satan's allowed to roam free, but these angels that did this thing, because it says they're locked away in Tartarus
Right.
and chains of darkness.
Right.
So whatever they did was so bad
Right.
that God said, "You have to be locked away." You know, meanwhile Satan roams about until his due time.
Yeah.
Right. So whatever they did was obviously atrocious enough for God to lock them in chains of everlasting darkness. You know.
Yeah, and I think that's another aspect of, theological theory that we get lost in, where it's like there's this hierarchy of evil beings and Satan's at the top, and then it's like these underlings, you know what I mean?
Yes. You're saying we're assuming that.
We're assuming that, yeah.
Okay.
Well, I mean, there is definitely a kingdom of darkness.
There is,
You
but
know,
I'm
there's-
saying like
there are levels, and I think it's just connected to how you were created.
Right.
You know.
And maybe some have more powers than others.
right.
You know.
But I'm saying like the idea that Satan is the most evil, you know what I'm saying? And it's like
Well, he's the
mastermind.
He's the one on top.
right, he's the one on top because of his position on the other side, right?
Yeah.
He's the anointed cherub.
And he's the father of lies. But even like the idea of the devil, Satan, Lucifer, like all of these beings being the same thing, like I don't know. There's weirdness. There's gray areas in there for me sometimes when I'm reading this stuff. It's like
Yeah, because me too. I say, obviously, whatever they did was enough
Yeah.
for God to say they immediately get punishment.
yeah,
You know what I mean? You know, because even when Jesus was traveling through the Gadarenes and they run into the man in the graveyard
right,
and he was casting out the demons said, "Hey, don't cast us into Tartarus,
Right.
you know,
He's-
send
yeah.
us into these pigs."
Right,
So
send us
obviously
into
they
the
know
pig.
what it is.
Yeah, yeah.
You know what I mean?
Right.
Or they know it exists.
Right.
They know their end. They know what judgment is.
right,
You know, because they ask him to do that. I mean, and if the pigs ran into the water and drowned themselves anyway,
right.
you know,
And then the other one that recognized him said something about, "Have you come to?"
before our time.
Yeah, you know,
Right. It's
Yeah.
same thing, just
Right.
two different type of stories. But
Right.
Yeah.
So these beings, because what's the appeal of Enoch, right? Is these beings try to appeal to him to go intercede for, you know what I mean?
yeah,
They asked him.
Yeah,
Yeah,
for-
and Enoch.
Right.
yeah. They asked him to intercede and basically vouch, like go to God and advocate for them.
What they have done.
Yeah,
That would have
He
been
said-
what, 2,000 years, right?
yeah,
Oh, no, about 1,000 years into human existence, right?
Right.
So what was happening at that? I'm always curious to know, like, what's the Earth like at that time? It wasn't as fallen. It's a gradual, you know,
I mean,
falling
it was
away.
it was starting to go pretty rapidly, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
it wasn't too long. Like you got Enoch, and then you got
Methuselah.
Noah is his great grandson. So
right, right.
About like 4 generations in.
So no, because
even though they lived a lot longer,
how old was Noah when he started building the ark?
500, I heard.
yeah, I think he was 500. His son Shem was 100.
And how old was Enoch when Noah was born? Do we know that? Because that would lay out exactly how long that
Well,
was.
Enoch was taken away, so
Yeah.
I don't.
But he was
But yeah, you
Right.
can still calculate.
he was
I
older
don't
than
know.
Noah. We know that.
Yeah, yeah. But it's interesting, man.
Yeah.
It's interesting because,
Yeah.
and I think it was like you said, it sped up time in a way because they introduced, manipulating herbs. They introduced weaponry. They introduced genetic manipulation. You know what I mean? So there's all these things that they put into the game for humans that showed us how to basically to invent witchcraft.
Right.
You know,
Which is crazy because
Are they doing it now?
yeah, well, it says that. It says
Yeah.
as it was in the
Technology
days of
is speeding up.
Noah, so shall it be at the coming of the Son.
Yeah, and that's what it says in like in Daniel. It talks about how the beast is going to come to change times and laws, right? So, but then in Daniel too, it talks about how God changes the times and seasons, and how He raises up kings and takes down kings. So it's connected to. I think it's connected to us as Christians and believers, and how much we agree with God. Our agreement with God is what keeps things at bay. Like I was saying, Shema, right? We got to pay attention. We got to get what he has to give us. We got to hold on to it because the enemy comes to kill, steal, and destroy. He wants to take it away from us, wants to steal it from us. And he's crafty. He's a smooth operator, right? Love for sale.
Right,
So he's
right.
going to try to get you to open up your heart, and let go of what you got. But if we pay attention and continue to trust in God, he'll give us more, and we keep that, and then we can keep the enemy away because God keeps him away, right? He's our watcher. He's our keeper. It said, this is what Psalms 121. It says like 5 times how he keeps us, preserves us. It's all the same word in the Hebrew, Shema. Shamar, keeps us, preserves us, watches over us. It's all Shamar. So I think it all leads back to Lord God is one. It's through Jesus, the Father. We're able to come to the Father. And that's really what like the gifts are all about. And especially like the baptism of the Holy Spirit and the gift of speaking in tongues, because it's connected to how we have that line right to the Father to be able to commune with him. And a lot of tongues has been very misunderstood, I think.
Yeah, and I think it's also been misused
Oh, yeah, definitely.
and totally like plagiarized, if you will. You know what I'm saying?
Part of the theatrics.
Yeah, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I have a question. Do you think because
Wakanda.
you too dead? And then wins again.
Yeah.
What do you think about like the time, in terms of timeline? Because we know that this calendar that we use, the months, the years, everything is it's really pagan.
Yeah.
What do you guys take on the true timeline and where we are right now? Because where are we in the Gregorian calendar? Like
It's the Gregorian calendar mixed with the Roman calendar.
so, there's
right?
been a couple of resets.
Yeah.
On like
January and February didn't exist.
right.
And you can tell by the names of the month. Even when I was a kid, I used to think about this. Like, why is September the 9th month? Sept is 7. You know what I mean? Oct is 8. October should be the 8th month. December should be the 10th. November 9. You know what I mean? But then I found out later through Google and research that they added January and February. I forget why. But it had to do with whoever came into power, whoever was the Caesar at the time, wanted to change the calendar around and, line it up with certain gods.
Yeah.
And so they added January and February.
Yeah. I mean, we definitely have to look at the Hebraic calendar,
Yeah.
and pay attention to it. Like right now we're in the month of Purim, and that's the time of when all of the
How do you say
Jewish
that?
people, Purim.
Purim.
I mean, I'm probably not saying it right, but it's Purim.
Yeah.
But
What month does that represent in this?
well, it's a time. It's not the month.
Oh, okay.
Let me see. The
Yeah,
month.
because I don't know. I mean,
The month is Adar.
Yeah.
It's the 13th of Adar.
Okay.
But it's the
Is that the first, like, when they say a month, are they referring to the same 30 days kind of thing? Or is it like we're completely way off?
no, it's around 30. They do it by lunar.
The lunar calendar.
Oh, okay.
Yes. So it's like when, the whole they straight up go by lunar.
Yeah.
Right.
Again, the sky clock, the stars are
yeah.
giving them their cycles. You
Right.
know what I mean?
And
Which
based
is
off of the seasons.
yeah, it's a more natural thing.
Right.
And yeah, so like when you look at like the Moedim, which is the feast, right? It's really about meeting times, appointed times,
Right.
pilgrimage times.
Who follows this, by the way? People in Jewish faith?
Jewish people, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
But we should too.
The practicing Jews do.
Yeah. We should to know. We don't have to. Like it's
Right.
not like as Christians we have to do this, but if you want to know what's going on,
Yeah.
and you'll
So we're
you
probably
can see
4,000
more.
years in thinking we're 6.
yeah, Yeah, I mean, it's crazy, but I noticed that even like with my kids, they get all the Jewish holidays off because of the neighborhood we live in, and they always are during these feasts, which line up with like Rosh Hashanah is the New Year or whatever.
Yeah.
So like it's all lined up. Their calendar is lined up with that.
What are these feasts like? What are they tied to? Like, I know in ancient time it was what the ushering of what
Well, Passover, right?
You know,
Well, I mean, when you look at it, dude, it's like it's prophetic. It points to the future, but it's meeting times. You have 7 of them, right? 7 is that number again. You have 3 where their pilgrimages, where people would have to go to Jerusalem, and that was Passover, Shavuot, which is Pentecost, and then Feast of Tabernacles.
So think about it, but Passover also became the time where Jesus was crucified.
Right.
Like you said, Shavuot became
on
And-
purpose though, because of their dislike for him.
no. That was just how it lined up.
Oh, okay.
That was just how it lined up. Like that's the way God designed it.
Yeah.
It's like one of those connected things. That time of Pentecost, the story where the Holy Spirit came and people started speaking in tongues. That was Shavuot. You know what I mean? Which
Yeah. So if you think about it, like this goes back to what we're talking about too. 120 goes back to Genesis 6, right? Because when the sons of God came down, then God goes into I'm gonna only bear with flesh for another 120 years,
right.
And so if you look at it like 6,000 years from Adam to now, actually, there's been 120 jubilees, and jubilees come every 50 years. 50 times 120 is 6,000. You know, that's not like no coincidence.
Yeah.
And even 6 and 6,000 as a day, you know.
That's amazing to me, man. Like mathematically.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
you have
Stuff is
like,
just like
Yeah, it all lines
we
up,
were
man.
created on the 6th day,
6,000.
right? So you go back to Passover. Jesus died and rose. And from the time he rose till Passover you had a 40-day period. And then that's where he came back and meted with them, right? Kept meeting with them, but then he went back up. And then there was a 10-day period where they waited on the Lord. And there were 120 in the upper room. So you have 50 times 120, 50 for every person who waited, which is 120, which is 6,000.
50
You know?
times 120. So, yeah, 6,000 again. Yeah.
So, should believers be practicing these type of feasts? Like, what?
It says it's scriptural. You know,
How come? I mean, is it because of we are in the pagan calendar, or we?
I think that has part to do with it.
It's because it started to like early on, and it's not. They celebrated, like when you look at a lot of the early church fathers, they celebrated Passover, especially Passover, a lot of these feasts, but it got taken away because they started to, you know, when they threw in Easter, they were trying to like.
When did this happen? When did we move from where we're following these feasts, we're recognizing these commandments, and now the church is like.
Well, like he said, when the Romans developed the Catholic Church, they decided to create these holidays more aligned with their traditions.
The Roman and Greek.
Like you have Augustine,
but kept it around
Mainly the Romans, because they're the ones who spread Christianity around the world.
Yeah.
This is Constantine, or this is
It
Constantine.
Started with Constantine, but yeah, like I know like writings like Augustine talked about it.
Yeah.
Like
Augustine Hippo.
They talked about like changing it, and you know,
So they got together and was like, let's add it in 2 months and let's just change.
Well, let's make the 2 months thing came later,
Okay.
but it was like let's make Christianity more palatable for our whole empire that's used to these pagan traditions. So we'll line it up, Easter with Ishtar and you know, Christmas with this or whatever. I mean, that was really the only two.
yeah, and I will for their benefit, I will say that their attempt, which is reasoning, their
Right.
own reasoning, was to take away from those holidays.
Right.
Right? Not because some people have the mindset of, well, no, they were trying to line it up
Yeah.
so that there would be more power. No, it actually take away the power
Right.
from what they were doing. Right. So in that sense, like it's a good thing, but at the same time,
You don't think that they were just trying to unite their empire?
I think Constantine was.
you know.
No,
they
were definitely trying
just
to
for
come at.
ruling.
They were definitely trying to come at that and figure out a way, which is a unity in a false way.
I think the people you're talking about, like Augustine, yeah, like people like that were trying to do that. Like they really had a heart to try to combat those things. But I honestly think Constantine's whole mission was just to gain power over Rome.
Yeah.
Try to because Rome was falling apart at that point. You know, and he wanted an attempt to unify.
So he was
the
using
empire.
religion, is what you saying?
100%.
Yeah.
I think so.
So he probably wasn't. He didn't mean anything. He just
No.
wanted to use it to.
It's a fact that when he died,
He was pagan.
He was buried with the statue of Apollo. He has a whole statue, a Constantine statue that is erected.
So they believe in something, but just not what they were talking about. Like they're believing in these entities and these things. You know what I mean?
yeah, they totally 100. Their whole religion comes from the Greeks. So
So
go ahead.
this is the whole reason why we went into the Dark Ages.
Right.
because of the suppression of the gospel
Right.
and the subjugation of it to the powers that be.
At that time, the Bible translation were in Latin.
Right.
Right. So
And so, just to go back to that, so Constantine made it illegal, made it law that you had to be a Christian now, right? So by penalty of death. So then you were not allowed to own a Bible. You were not allowed to
Christianity started to spread. Mm-hmm. Oh no,
the Catholic Church.
Catholic Church.
The
Okay.
Catholic Church. So they developed a new empire, which was the Roman Catholic Church.
But not true Christianity. This is more like a Roman Catholic kind of.
I think some of them believed it was like the underlings.
Yeah.
Believed.
That's
that it
why
was
you
true
can't like
Christianity.
totally just
Yeah.
like throw it out, because faith is you're responsible for what you know.
Yeah.
And because they were held in the dark,
I think some of them truly had a heart to like
Right.
that this was spreading the word of Jesus Christ to the world. You know what I mean? But I do think that
Which it did.
those at the top, like the Pope and like like Constantine, like a lot of
They
these
knew what it
people were
was.
corrupted.
Right.
yeah. But then you look at like the Renaissance, when things started to revive, that's when like you had people like
Martin Luther.
Martin Luther, like
Yeah.
people started to
He was the
think
one that wrote
differently.
the letters and stuck it on the door
Yeah.
Yeah.
to change.
Yeah.
So he had been studying. Okay.
And at the
people were
same
getting
time-
revelation on new things at that time.
and
So how? I'm sorry. How?
real quick, because I want to make this point. At the same time, you had a lot of the technology start to increase too, which was pulling people out of the dark ages.
Right.
I was gonna say. So. The Jewish. What would they be? The Pharisees. They would be the elders, right? That type.
Yeah.
Those leaders and stuff like that.
Yeah.
How did this go along with the changing of the calendar and the month? Like, how did this?
They had no power.
Yeah.
They just was like, okay.
No,
They didn't have
no,
power.
Rome
was. I mean,
the
Jerusalem
Pharisees.
was done.
The Pharisees never followed Jesus.
Right,
The
right.
Pharisees were 100% against that.
No, I'm saying, but they had their own Jewish calendar.
There was no.
They didn't change the
No.
calendar.
Well, let's go back. 70 A.D.
Mm-hmm.
Jerusalem was destroyed.
Yeah.
So like everybody scattered.
Yeah.
Right. So all the Jews were like remnants
Right.
in different.
Mm-hmm.
That's why they had to establish Israel again
Mm-hmm.
in the future.
So they have the original. What I'm trying to ask is who has the original calendar and original days and months of the year and all that stuff like that? Who has that?
I mean, I don't think anybody has it perfectly.
Yeah, I
Right.
don't think it was meant to be
Yeah.
designed that way, where it's
Yeah.
like,
No, I'm saying they add 2 months. Like, who has the original? Like,
Right,
we just
right.
added another 2. Like,
yeah, yeah.
what's going on?
No, I think like the Hebrew calendar
It's close to the
is,
original.
is very
Right,
very
okay.
close. I mean, it's
Why don't the Christian church adopt that?
because the Christian church was established by the Roman Catholic Church. So everything that we know,
But as he's saying, the Renaissance and the Reformation movement, like,
Yeah.
why don't we do? Because a lot of this stuff,
because
I'm-
by that point it was already so written in like our system was
Just
in
go
place.
along with it.
You know what I mean? It's just like, why doesn't America adopt a metric system?
Right.
You know what I mean? It's so ingrained at this
It's the
point.
traditions of men.
Yeah.
You get used to something.
Yeah.
That's what happened, and it makes the word of God no effect.
Yeah.
You know.
Louis C.K. has a great joke about that, about how like that's how powerful the Catholic Church was, like the most powerful thing that ever existed, because even the way we depict time is based off of what they said. Like even Muslims, even
everybody.
Jews,
Yeah,
like
yeah, yeah.
everyone.
Yeah.
Everyone just goes off of what they
empire,
said,
yeah,
you know. Like we even have a BC.
Yeah.
BC stands for before Christ. AD stands for whatever. I would always forget what that stands for. But it's some Latin term for after Christ, right? But anyway, they don't even believe in him, and even they can go off of that time frame. You know what I mean? Even they don't reject that and say, no, this is year, you know.
I'm just curious, like, who has the original, or close to the original as possible?
I think the Hebrews, the Hebrew calendar.
Yeah. So so
What about the Mayan?
That stopped in 2012. We already
They got it wrong. They got it wrong. They like Joe Rogan said, they knew that the world was gonna end. He's like, do you know they didn't have shoes?
Yeah. Right. They didn't.
But
they couldn't.
what I was saying is, At that time, right?
Yeah.
That early time when it began to happen, the Roman Empire started to really expand and all that stuff like that. When did Constantine get on the scene to start changing the translation of the scriptures? Like, how did that happen?
No, so what happened was the Christian movement was starting to gain steam,
But they were
not the
were they-
Roman Catholic
okay,
Church.
okay.
So this was independent of that.
Yes.
There was
because
there was a
Paul
lot,
and all these other possible
right,
going
and
out.
there was other people teaching around the world through these like everyone had their own ideas of what were the most impactful scriptures or texts that they would teach off of. So what Constantine decided was like we need to unify Rome. We're going to adopt this because Christianity
was he an emperor? Constantine?
Yeah.
Okay.
But Christianity was spreading through Rome, but it was underground because it was illegal. You know what I mean? So
What did the Romans follow before Christianity?
paganism, they worship Jupiter and Mars and
So they're exactly like the Greeks then?
Yeah.
Okay.
All of those gods came from Jupiter is Zeus. You know what I mean?
But they
Yeah.
come from the Samaritan gods. So
Right,
it's like
right.
that. It's all
They're
the
just
same.
copying
And
each
it's
other.
all from Egypt, which is it's all
Well,
this,
before Egypt,
right.
really.
Even before that, yeah.
Yeah.
So it's
and
all
it's similar to fallen angels.
right. They're all those gods are connected to the Watchers.
Watchers. Yeah.
So
Yeah, or the sons of the Watchers.
yeah, either or. So some of the sons of the Watchers became gods in some of these places too.
So those empires were way after like Nimrod and like obviously.
Yeah. So
they were-
you're talking about after those empires. But what happened with the Roman Catholic Church was Constantine decided that in order to really unify this idea of the Catholic Church, we need one text that everyone's going to teach from. It's like a centralized. It's the idea of centralization that we're dealing with now with the internet. We're dealing with there's good aspects of it, but it's also a controlled thing. So they actually sat down with a council. They grabbed a bunch of like the most world-renowned teachers, and they put them in a room and said, "All right, what's going to be in this book? What's not going to be in this book?" Which is what the Bible that we know today is based off of that. So that's the canon. You know what I mean? So they made a decision on certain books that they were going to include and
Book
not
of
include.
Enoch, too much information.
Yeah, Book of Enoch was nixed.
But is it because the Dead Sea Scrolls weren't discovered, or they were just kept it away? Or?
Well, scholars will tell you that they said that books were excluded if they couldn't really, if they couldn't tie it back to the original author.
Okay.
You know what I mean? But the Book of Enoch is quoted in the Bible.
Yeah.
In the canon that they put together, the Book of Enoch is quoted in the books that you kept in. So it
But there
doesn't.
still might be some stuff in the Book of Enoch that might not be. That's the thing. Like that's what they say. Like
Right.
still might be some stuff in there that might not make complete sense. So
Right,
know.
So
but
they just took it out.
all I'm saying is
But they
you could say
quote
that
it.
about any book. You know what I mean?
yeah.
So
Yeah.
it's just like the idea that they just decided,
Right.
you know what I mean? And the Book of Jasher, they decided that doesn't exist, and that's quoted in there as well. You know what I mean? So like,
So Constantine decided we're gonna omit this.
Yeah.
We're gonna keep this. We're gonna use this one
there's gonna be
religion.
there's going to be this book that we call the Bible. It's going to be written in Latin. That's going to be the canon for the Roman Catholic Church.
But meanwhile, we're gonna use what religion to subjugate, meaning
So it became
Or
a way to control the
Yeah.
empire, and then branched out into controlling. So now think about it. Most of the kingdoms in Europe became subservient to the church. So who really ruled? Rome still had power, just in a different way. It transferred over to the Vatican. You know what I mean?
that's when they were setting it up.
Yeah,
Oh, okay.
yeah.
He was the original Palpatine.
Yeah. in a way. But there was some good that came out of it though,
Right.
which is the crazy thing. Like we talk about this all the time. Like
Martin Luther.
but not only that, like a lot of these places in the world that were practicing barbaric cannibalism, human child sacrifice. Like they were converted.
Like Mexico, you know.
Yeah.
The Mayans.
Yeah.
Aztecs. Yeah.
You know, a lot of these.
Find a way to use it.
You know, it's weird. It's weird how that happens.
Right.
Because like those that ended that. You know. So there
Yeah, because
was.
it's like on one side you got like they're piling up bodies.
Yeah.
Like when you go back and read some of these books, dude.
Yeah.
The one with Cortez, like they said that there was a pile of bodies. I think was higher than the pyramid.
Yeah.
You know, of not bodies, of bones. You know,
yeah.
and when they met with the what's his name?
The chief. What was his name? Montezuma.
I can't remember his name.
Quetzalcoatl.
I think that's the name of
Quetzalcoatl
the.
was the
I think
snake.
that's the name of the city.
That's but it was named after the
That means
the
snake.
leader.
That means serpent. That's
Yeah,
their
yeah,
word for
yeah.
serpent.
I'm not going to speculate.
No, it was named after the dude.
No, I'm talking about. All right, I'm not gonna. Anyway, so he was eating on a baby.
On a baby foot.
Yeah.
Just chomping on a baby
Yeah.
foot. Yeah.
Ew.
Yeah.
Like this is the type of people we're dealing with.
Yeah.
Like they were going to places, and they would try to like lure them in to then eat them.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That's what was happening. So they didn't even realize what they were stepping into. So like, yeah, like Jamie says, it seems like people are coming in and they're just, oh, these white people, look what they do. But you got to understand, God uses people to deal with things and to deal with situations because it's a lot better off than what it was.
And it may not have been done perfect.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But look at what the Israelites had to do to the Canaanites, to a lot of these areas where there were still remnants of.
The Zamzamine.
They had to wipe them out, man. And if any of them even took their stuff, you had to kill them. Like if Mon went in and was like, "Oh, let me get a piece of that," Mon got to die. You know what I'm saying? And all his kids got to die. You know what I'm saying? Like that's how serious it was.
Yeah.
That's how serious it was. So when you think about it, like,
There's a spiritual
Yeah.
connotation there too.
yeah, because it was about what it was. We were just talking about this. It was about keeping it pure. It was about keeping Israel pure, so that Jesus could come through that bloodline.
Wow.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah, the story about
and if we never sinned in the garden, God wouldn't have to bring Jesus. Like what type of world would that be? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
it was always meant from the beginning to
Yeah.
be this way.
Yeah.
You know,
So
he knew what it was from the door.
But it's crazy when you think about like now because of technology, we've uncovered a lot of these books that we didn't have access to
right.
that are giving more that revelation back. And there's something I was reading that was talking about like how those things were meant for a different time. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like they would be hidden. What isn't that in the Bible where it talks about like these scriptures will be hidden away
No, it's in the book of Enoch. I
in the
think.
book of Enoch? Yeah. Which should have been in the Bible.
But it says that it's for a certain.
Yeah. But everyone says that like, oh,
I think it says for a certain generation or something like that.
it's like it, but is that in the Bible? It's not canonical. It's not. But even the idea of saying that to me is short-sighted.
Yeah, I mean, you can get stuff off of the many different like tribes around Israel to see where they stood. Like
Yeah.
I was telling you, I was like, God was showing me stuff about the Amorites,
Yeah.
and from what he was showing me, I'm like, oh, they seem like they were mercenaries, right? And this is just like revelation he's giving me.
Yeah.
Then I go and I actually look it up, and yeah, they're mercenaries. That's what they
mercenaries,
did. They gained power by. They fought. They didn't sow no seeds or anything. They went out, fought, and then they got hired by other kingdoms until eventually they came into their own stuff. But
Like the Knights Templar.
it's funny because the Gibeonites were a remnant of the Amorites, and it says that they were crafty, right? Kind of like this. The same word is used there. And these dudes, they dressed so they wouldn't. Because they heard all the stuff about the Israel when they're coming into the land. This is in Joshua, right? Joshua 9. So they're coming into the land, and they're like, all right, we got to do something. So they put on like old clothes and take old like I don't know, water things and try to look like they came from a far off land. Like it's all in the Bible. We heard about your exploits. We heard about everything. You know, we want to serve you.
Yeah.
So because they didn't want to get taken over. So they went and they were like trying to get them to make a covenant. Right. So they ended up making a covenant with them. And then they couldn't kill them.
Right.
So when they found out who they were, they didn't kill them because they already made a covenant
already
with
made
them.
that agreement, yeah.
But they became the ones who like had to cut the wood and do some other stuff for the altar. Like they were like had to deal with the altar. But I thought that's interesting, like how like with Jesus, you know, all the stuff that they think they're doing that's crafty and cunning, like even taking him to the cross, they didn't realize that they were really just setting themselves up, you know? And that's what happens a lot. Like it says it in the Bible so much, like all these things that people are trying to think and plot and scheme, like it's all vanity and it's all going to fall apart. And we can't fall into that same thing.
Right.
Like, oh, they're doing these things. We got to
Right.
do it too. No,
Right.
we got to trust God, you know?
Right. Yeah. Because we can get caught up in that too. Like, look what they're doing now. Look what they're doing now. Look, they're trying to take our guns.
Yeah. We got to pay attention to it. We
Definitely,
can't
definitely.
we can't be like naive.
Because then
Not gonna
you'll
take
be
my
drawn
guns.
into the
Yeah.
traps. Yeah.
Yeah, and we don't want to go into like pew pew. We don't want to go into covenant, right?
They come with some tanks to your door. You giving them guns up, brother. Trust me.
But that's the thing. Like Israel shows, like you make covenant with the wrong, and what is covenant? You make agreement with the wrong things. They got right to be there.
Yeah.
They got a right to be there. They
Yeah.
couldn't kill them,
Yeah.
right? And that's the point. So what is the enemy always trying to get you to do? Make
A
agreement.
covenant. Yeah.
And make a covenant with the wrong things.
Yep.
And then you're like, why am I going through this? Why am I doing this?
Eat this apple.
Yeah.
Eat this fruit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You'll be like God.
Don't
All
you
right,
wanna
guys,
be
let's
like
wrap it
God?
up. It's 10:30. That was good. Talked about some
James
real
had
stuff.
us.
James was coming
a whole
with the
nother-
questions.
He was-
man. Yeah.
He wanted
Nah, it's
really,
good.
he
Nah,
really
that was
wanted
good
to
stuff.
know.
Yeah,
man.
no,
That
it was good.
stuff. Yeah, we should talk about that more often.
Yes.
Yeah, it's interesting. I want to, all because I want to time travel. Space
He's like, I just want to go to Mars, man.
No, it always interests
I
me.
want to
I'm
see
like,
Jupiter.
Yeah.
there's more to it than.
Yeah.
I think just I've always had these kind of questions.
Yeah.
And when I ask those kind of questions, it's like I feel like I never get.
Yeah.
It's like, this is not a good answer.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
I just think like we definitely like I was thinking about that. Like there's something with these planets.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like we gotta be like if they're all uninhabitable.
Yeah.
Like if there's really planets and they're all uninhabitable, then they're meant to be inhabited.
Mhm.
But it's gotta be God who births them.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Right.
Yeah.
Because the Earth was probably in the same state.
Yeah.
You know.
Null and void.
And even on this planet, there's places that humans can't go.
Yeah.
There's limitations too.
Right, right.
They were saying
Like the
that
deep
even-
sea.
They were saying that even if like when people are doing mining, if they hit pockets of gas, like there's certain things that are uninhabitable.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
So I was wondering, like, looking at the size of, you ever seen that thing? I don't know if this is true, but you ever seen sometimes, like I was looking up the planets, and they showed like within how big Jupiter is compared to us.
Yeah.
And I was like, wow, like that's amazing. Like if I don't know how they can calculate that,
Yeah.
So I don't know if they're lying.
Yeah,
But
they-
just to look at the glory of that, like. I was coming home from last night from your house, and Sophia's like, "Daddy, look, the moon," and it was so clear. And I was
Yeah.
like,
Yeah.
I was like,
Isn't
wow.
it beautiful? Like
Yeah, man.
Sometimes the moon is like so big and
Yeah.
orange.
And I remember that as a kid, man. My uncles, they were old, my granduncle, old and weren't literate in today's,
Sense.
sense or whatever
Yeah.
it is, but he understand that, he understood when to go. He's a fisherman, so he would be making these nets, and he would watch the moon. Oh, it's
Yeah.
gonna be tide,
Right.
and it's coming, and it's this. He knew all of that.
That's crazy.
And they taught him, and he said they got that from the Africans, and then what's interesting about that, they got it from the Africans, the slaves, but at that time, he said, the Amerindians, we call them, you guys call them the Tainos.
Yeah.
But they said the same thing too. They would come by the tide and by the moon. You know, so you got African slaves
Right.
and South American indigenous people basically saying the same. They're following these things. They followed the tide. They knew when to go and fish, when to come back,
Yeah.
when to be dangerous. They knew when storms were coming.
Right.
They knew how. And it's like, how did they know that?
And when
You know?
when you think about it, a lot of these older cultures knew that
Mm-hmm.
and they used the sky to tell them, you know. And then when you think about the Hebrew calendar lining up in that way, it seems like more of a natural, like
Yeah.
the way it was
How it
supposed
was
to be.
supposed to be,
I mean, women's cycle is pretty much mirrors the lunar cycle.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Winds.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just find that curious, you know, like how did they, because they traveled throughout the Caribbean and they avoided storms.
Yeah.
They knew when to go, when to stay.
Yeah.
I mean, they're in a canoe, so they
Yeah,
better
yeah.
know.
You gotta know,
You
life
know?
or death.
You know, so I was very interesting. I was like, man, like there's a lot that we don't know.
They
I wish-
definitely didn't get it. They didn't get it right all the time.
No, there's a couple of mess ups.
Tia said, "Hi guys, you on Thursday night as well?" We came on Thursday night because we were busy on Tuesday, so you happened to catch us. But yeah, we're here tonight. What's up? Thanks for tuning in. Make sure you share. Anybody else want? Anything else you want to?
I'm going home
Throw
to look
out
up this
there.
stuff right now. I'm trying to find out.
I wanted to talk about the one thing, but it would be too long.
Yeah, we'll
Yeah,
get to that next
yeah.
time. We can save it for Tuesday.
Yeah.
Yeah, I wanted to
what was
ask
it?
you
The
guys
queer,
about
queer theory.
Yeah,
the
Yeah,
Coca-Cola.
Coca-Cola. The
How to be less white.
the less white training. You hear
We'll
about that?
talk
We'll talk
about
about
that.
that.
So I'll keep dropping these gems here.
Yeah, we was here going deep, boy. Yeah, but yo, look up the Constantine story.
I will.
It's
I will.
interesting.
I
dude.
want to know. I'm very curious about the calendar
Yeah,
and like how did that change? You know what I'm saying?
I looked it up. I watched something on it, and I read about it. I forget who. It wasn't him. It was another person later on that changed, that added January and February, and I forget why. But it sounded like something stupid. So
And then Julius Caesar changed July to July.
yeah, because he wanted
One
to name
thing
it
I
after him.
think that is gonna start to happen more is that we're gonna start to see God's hand throughout history more clearly than we have, because it's easy to point out what
Yeah.
people are doing, but what
Yeah.
was God doing throughout
Yeah.
all this? Because
Right.
He was there,
Yeah.
you know, and He was working, and He had
That's
His
true.
hand in all this stuff.
If he didn't, these people would take over. Like you
Yep.
know,
Yeah.
Yep.
You know.
Yeah. It would be like it was back then when
Yeah.
they were trying to rape angels.
yeah. I know that.
But that's so. Let me just say this: so we're in the time of Purim.
Yeah.
That's what the story of Esther is about.
Yeah.
God's not mentioned one time in the story of Esther, but He's hidden, and that's what it's all about. It's about what's hidden, you know. And I think like that's what we're coming into. What was hidden, now God is going to start revealing, like throughout time.
Real quick before we get out of here, Naomi left one last comment. Thank you for inviting me. I would like to say God bless you all. Have a good night. Amen. Thank you, Naomi. All right, guys, we're going to wrap this up. Appreciate everyone who was watching, who was staying with us the whole time, stuck with us. We hope you all have a blessed weekend, blessed rest of this week. Also, remember, if you want to support, you go to patreon.com/YoungLionTV. Also, you can go to Jatan.com for music and merch. We got a new song coming out in April. It's called Darling, and it's got like a reggae feel.
We're going to show that too.
Yeah, we were, but we can show that on Tuesday. Give everybody a sneak peek. Maybe we'll do that on Tuesday. We'll do a world premiere. But yeah, other than that, we love you guys, and we'll see y'all next time. Peace. We out.
Young lion, go live, yeah. Young lion, you rich, yeah. This kingdom has room, yeah. Go and fight people in, ooh.